Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's Dealer On webinar, Using Your Data to Increase Traffic and Conversions Now. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. And today's webinar is being presented by Dealer On. For anyone who isn't familiar with Dealer On, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency best known for our amazing SEO, the best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the award-winning Chameleon Responsive Website Platform. We've been awarded the Driving Sales Dealer Satisfaction Award for top-rated websites for an unprecedented make that 7th year in a row. We also took home the AWA Award for Best Websites 3 times, plus FCA and Ford have announced that we're now an approved vendor. Big things are happening over here at Dealer On. We're still the only company in the industry that offers a money-back lead guarantee program. Do you want to know more? Yeah, you do. You can check us out at dealeron.com. Hey, are you losing valuable traffic because of a slow mobile site? It's estimated that well over half your website traffic is coming from mobile devices. But don't you worry, Dealer On now offers a mobile site speed test for free, and you can get yours after the webinar. Just give us your URL in the survey and let the magic begin. It's a great way to see how your site stacks up to the competition. And Dealer On will be exhibiting and presenting at the upcoming NADA convention in Vegas at the end of March. If you're going to be there, well, I'm going to be there, so stop by booth 3493 Charlie. We have the best booth around. We got music, we got an open bar, and we're not just bringing the best digital marketing tools and some free booze to NADA this year. We're also bringing some serious knowledge. Our very own Greg Gifford will have 2 sessions on the Lego Masters Builder's Guide to local SEO for car dealers. Figure out what's holding your dealership back from showing up in Google searches in your area. We've also got Michael DeVito, our Chief Creative Officer, who will talk about selling more cars with your mobile website strategy in Pave the Path to Purchase. Turn website traffic into sales. Can't wait to see you there. And keep your eyes peeled for your $100 if you get a demo from Dealer On at NADA. We have a great show in store for you today. We're very pleased to have Dave Spannhake as our presenter today. Dave Spannhake is the CEO of Reunion Marketing, a full-service digital marketing agency specializing in delivering best-in-industry solutions to automotive dealerships across the country. Dave spent 10 years working with 33-store dealership group in North Carolina. While there, he created digital strategies that increased website traffic and lead volume by more than, get this, 400%, contributing towards sales growth that outpaced the local market by approximately 600% the last 3 years he was there. Wow! He continues to utilize the same data-driven strategies based on in-market shopping behavior and search trends to create the same success for his partners at Reunion Marketing. Dave can be reached at dave@reunionmarketing.com. By the way, Dave Spannhake will be presenting at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Orlando, April 10th through the 12th. So if you're going to be there, you should definitely check out his speaking session. For more info or to buy tickets, please visit digitaldealer.com. Hope to see you there. Now, during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we're going to try to respond by email later today. And don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference. Feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends at Reunion Marketing, whoa, they're giving away a cool prize on today's webinar. One lucky webinar attendee is going to win a Nintendo Switch. Ho, ho, ho. This is the hottest game on the market, people. Everyone wants one of these. What a tremendous prize for you, especially for your kids. Let me just tell you, value of $400. You have to be on the live broadcast to score this amazing giveaway, though. So stay tuned, and who knows, you might be the one walking away with this awesome prize today. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar, you're going to get a short survey, so fill it out. We're always looking for quality feedback from our audience, and we want to hear what you have to say about today's presentation. And hey, do you tweet much? Oh, we hope you do. We'd love to see what you have to say about today's show, so please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. You can also hit up Dave Spannhake at Reunion MKTG. We look forward to seeing what you're saying. All right, everyone, let's get started. Let's learn how to use your data to increase traffic and conversions now. Dave Spannhake, how are you, sir?
Hey, doing really good.
I am
Thank
so
you for that
excited.
that introduction.
Oh, well, you're very welcome, sir. I got to tell you, I love when people come in to the show and they tell me, you know what? I have a solution that actually you can make changes, small little changes or changes today, and you're going to see immediate ROI. You're going to see immediate results. So I love when people do that. And I love that you are telling me that dealers have all this data, and we know this. Dealers have all this data in their website, and some dealerships use that data, and some dealerships don't. But you're telling me that we can look at this data that these dealerships have just sitting right there, and we can read it and use it and make changes that will impact traffic and conversions like immediately. And I love this. I'm loving this, Dave. And I know you have a lot of great information to share today. So I'm not even going to wait any longer. Just go. Tell the audience the kinds of things we're going to be learning about today, and let's do this.
Yeah, perfect. And I mean, this is, I think, one of the biggest opportunities. We spend a ton of money on advertising and driving a ton of traffic to the website, and the reactiveness to what's happening in real time and what people are doing, how they're behaving, what they're searching for, it's all out there. And as an industry, we just aren't doing as good of a job as we can do to take action on that data. So today, looking at just how to set up the framework to actually start measuring that website performance, spending all that money to get people there, how do we measure it effectively? And then what are some of the ways that we can increase traffic? I know there's a lot of buzzwords out there, optimization and traffic, conversion, all this stuff, but I mean, we're going to be talking about real things, not just buzzwords, like things to do today, start doing immediately to start understanding why people act the way they do, and how do we get them to start submitting leads and converting on the website. So greatest opportunities to increase conversion. Following all that stuff, of course, we'll talk about the giveaway or do a question for the giveaway, and then Q&A at the end. So please, again, be filling out any questions along the way. Happy to answer any of those things, but we'll go ahead and jump right in. Starting off here, and this is one that I like to share really in all sorts of different presentations, just to remind people, as an industry, we're spending a lot of money on advertising. This is from NADA. We're spending, this is as of 2016. The 2017 numbers should be released if you're looking for it probably in the next month or so. So I'm excited to see just how it changed from 2016 to 2017. It hasn't been changing much though, and they're still lumping internet all into one category, and that's 33% of the total marketing budget people are spending. Which, I mean, I've got a couple beefs with that. One, you know, people are spending 17 hours doing internet research and you know, making the decisions on where to buy and what to buy. So that percentage really should be a little bit higher. But also the way that it's lumped into just being internet, and you have internet, newspaper, radio, but internet could be Facebook, it could be you know, Google, it could be chat, it could be AutoTrader, cars.com. There's a lot that goes into that. But it's a lot of money. The average dealership spends about $600,000 a year, and you know, according to NADA, that's $630 for every vehicle sold is going towards marketing. That number is also way too high, and I think that some of the things that we're talking about today to increase the efficiency of your spend is going to drop that quite a bit. Typically, when we're making budget recommendations to our dealerships, we like to recommend, you know, $300 as kind of a starting point. You can get lower than that even for every car you sell, but there's a lot of waste going on in the industry, and I think the last time I was on here, I was talking about building a budget around some of these best practices for all of the different pieces. A little bit greater focus on the website today. But in looking at advertising in general, people are always asking, you know, how much should I spend on traditional media? How much should I spend on digital marketing? And we're, you know, 50%, is that enough? Is 70% enough? Is 80% enough? And I think that we need to start thinking differently about the way we look at our marketing. It's not traditional versus digital. I mean, especially in today's world where, I mean, digital is part of our everyday life all the time. It's really, there's two types of people out there. There are those that are in the market ready to buy. They know they want a car. They just haven't figured out which car or which dealership. And then there's people who are not necessarily in the market that need to be stimulated. So if we start looking at every channel a little bit differently, then lumping maybe internet into one bucket, that's, you know, 33% of our marketing spend, and how much should we spend? But what's the purpose of each channel? You know, start with the intent. People are in the market doing searches for you, going to third-party websites like cars.com and AutoTrader and some of those different sites, and those are people who are ready to buy right now. So that's where a lot of our money is driving people when we're spending money on the stimulus pieces, which are still important. Things like Facebook, where you can drive traffic, get people excited about new cars that are out there, and stimulate that interest, and get people excited about, hey, maybe it is time to get a new car. But then that demand drives people to do Google searches and shop and to the website. And so that's what we're going to be talking a lot about today, is on the website. People going 24 different touch points on the website is where they ultimately end up. Majority of buyers end up on your dealership website. So the big question to ask is, we're spending $630 for every single car we sell on marketing, spending $600,000 on average across all the different dealerships, just to get people to our website. So what's the bigger opportunity? Is it to drive more traffic to the website? Are there people who want our vehicles that we're selling, and we can gain a greater percentage or share of voice on that lowest funnel intent channel? Or once they're on the website, are they actually shopping? Are they converting? Are they looking at your vehicles? Are they submitting leads? Are they making phone calls? Are they demonstrating that they are ready to buy it? And what can we do to get them to shop better on the website? So typically the answer to this is, is it a traffic opportunity or conversion opportunity? Typically there's opportunity to do both, but how do you prioritize that? So Eliana, to kick us off here, do you mind asking that first poll question?
First poll question on the screen now. All right, audience, we want to know, how would you rate your current Google Analytics setup? Please select one of the following answers. Do you feel that your current Google Analytics setup is highly effective and it powers your website optimization strategy? Do you have Google Analytics installed, but you admit you don't really utilize all of the data? Do you have a vendor that handles it for you, so you're not really sure how effective your Google Analytics setup is? Do you feel it's okay, you guess, we have Google Analytics, but you know what, we don't have like goals installed or anything like that? Or, you know what, I don't think we currently have Google Analytics installed, so I don't think we use it. Once we have a majority of the votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. And wow, these votes are coming in fast. Audience is on it today. Thank you so much, audience. We really, really appreciate it. Votes are still coming in. Let's leave this poll open for a few more seconds, and then we'll close this poll and share the results, and then we'll all know how everyone's doing with their Google Analytics setup. All right, Dave, if you're ready, I will close this poll and we'll get this first poll question under our belt.
Yeah, let's see the results.
All right, here we go. All right, audience, thank you so much for your votes. Closing the poll, and let's see what you had to say. How would you rate your current Google Analytics setup? Well, the majority, 37%, say they feel it's highly effective and it powers their website optimization strategy. Fabulous. 34% of today's audience say they have Google Analytics installed, but they admit they don't really utilize the data as much as they should. 20% of today's audience say they have a vendor that handles it for us, so they're not really sure what Google Analytics is doing for them. 6% say they're okay, but they don't have any goals installed in their Google Analytics right now. And 3% says they don't even use Google Analytics, or they don't think it's installed. So, Dave, I'm curious. Are you telling us that we should be using Google Analytics? Is that the tool of choice that you would recommend?
It's the most non-biased tool that is that's out there to look at. I mean, I recommend it because it's so robust too, and how much information it can give you. And then I'm going to talk quite a bit today about how we can use it and look at some of the reporting within it to analyze and determine what are the greatest traffic opportunities, what are some of the greatest conversion opportunities, and the insights there are tremendous. Kind of the same percentage that we see too as we're talking to different dealerships across the country. A third of people using it, a third of people just maybe not quite set up as well as it should be. But that's the big opportunity, is to say, okay, it's not just clicks that we're trying to get. Clicks don't sell cars, right? Clicks do represent the traffic coming to the website, but it's what are they doing when they're on the website? Are they shopping? Are they demonstrating that shopping behavior? So here's just a couple examples of some goals that that we would recommend that you do go into the back end of Google Analytics to set up. Measure how many people are going to your actual vehicles. There's a little bit of noise out there in the industry that BDPs aren't important, and that's simply not true. VDPs are important. I mean, there are ways to certainly game that data from different vendors that are out there or whatever. But if people are on your website and you're getting them to look at your inventory and getting them to look at your inventory, and engage with it and interact with it, then that's exactly what you want them doing. They're on your website to buy cars, so how effective are you in making that happen? And we're going to share some insight into what we're seeing across the industry, looking at hundreds of dealerships worth of data. Are they making phone calls? Are they going to schedule service? Are they texting? Are they chatting? Are they submitting trade-in appraisal leads? All these different activities that you want people doing on your website. Those are all things that you can go into the back end of Google Analytics and set up as goals. And really, it's a lot of dealerships out there are just looking at that primary the homepage of Google Analytics and how many people came to my website and how many people bounced, or what was my average time on site. And that's not necessarily what we want to look at. We want to look at how many people are coming to the website, but we also want to look at how many of those people are actual shoppers. How many of them are interacting with our website in a way that's saying, hey, we're gonna sell some more cars because of this. There are so many reports in here that when you have that framework set up, where that they are accomplishing the purpose of the website, that we have a strategy that is focused on, we want people to go to these pages, we want people to interact in these ways, we want people to engage in these ways, where we can hold other vendors accountable. You can integrate with your AdWords, and other campaign channels, maybe like Facebook campaigns, and make sure that the traffic that's coming to the website is doing what we want it to, and there's so many different reports that can give insight into ways that you can increase the performance of those campaigns, like the hour of the day that people are converting best. Maybe you can allocate more money and update your paid search spend, or target your Facebook spend around what hours they're converting the best, or which devices are they converting well on, which ones are they not converting well on. I mean, you can get as detailed as type of phone, or you can just do mobile versus desktop. If you're missing out on certain pages on your desktop that you're crushing it on mobile, or vice versa, then use that information to build a plan based on what's going to increase the total number of shoppers on your website. What pages are people exiting on? Where are they not getting to your inventory? What pages are they coming in on? And are we using that information to get people to do what we want them to do? It's all there, and typically, I mean, there's thousands and thousands or tens of thousands, depending on the dealership, of people that are coming to your website. Obviously, we're not selling that many vehicles every day, so we're talking about making changes that could, if we could increase 2%, 5%, 10% of our conversion across different pages that get thousands of page views. How many more shoppers are we going to create by doing this stuff? And so we're going to look through some of those strategies today. Starting off with some traffic strategies. What and how are people shopping is known today, because people are going into Google and they're basically typing in, I want to buy what you have at your store to sell me. And we want to be found in those searches. We want to be found in, I'm looking to buy a Honda Accord, for sale in my town. I'm looking for a Toyota dealership near me. I want a new Audi A3. They're going in and asking us that. So before talking about ways that we can know exactly what they're looking for and better understand SERPs, Eliana, can I pass it back to you for another poll question on traffic?
I think that's a great idea. All right, audience. You did so good on the first one. We're going to try it again. Second poll question is on the screen now. We want to know, how would you measure your current SEO efforts? You can pick, we are SEO rock stars and we're tackling all of those strategies. You know what? We're doing a pretty good job, but we have room for improvement. We paid for it, but we're not sure how effective it is. Or what? Didn't we get SEO when we got our website? We want to know what you think. How would you measure your current SEO efforts? Once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close this poll and share the results. So we want to know, are you SEO rock stars? You think you're doing pretty good, but hey, you can always do better. We paid for it, so I think we're doing okay. We're not really sure. Or wait a minute. When we bought our website, it came with SEO. That's good enough, right? Once we get a majority of those votes in, we're going to close the poll and share the results. I also want to remind everyone, don't be shy. Send in those questions for today's Dealer on Webinar presenter, Dave Spannhake. He is a great guy, and he is here to help you get more traffic and more conversions on your website. So send in those questions, and let's see how we can help you at your dealership, okay? All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your votes. Dave, if you're ready, I'll close this poll and let's see what the audience had to say.
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. Audience, thank you so much for your votes. Here we go. All right, how would you measure your current SEO efforts? Well, let's see. 13% of today's audience say we are SEO rock stars. Hey, all right. But the majority, 53% of today's audience, think that they're doing a pretty good job, but they admit there's room for improvement. 27% of today's audience, so more than a quarter, say, you know what, we paid for SEO, not really sure how we're doing on that, I guess we're doing okay. And then 7% of today's audience, well, you know what, they said they got SEO when they got their website. Isn't that enough? Dave, what's the right answer here? How does one measure their current SEO efforts? How do you know if you're doing okay?
Well, I mean, I've got some strategies here that I'd like to recommend to everyone to better measure that. But again, it starts with knowing what people are looking for. So if people are in the market and searching for things that relate to or demonstrate that they are ready to buy or are looking to buy, how often are you showing up in those different pieces? So, you know, one of the things that definitely doesn't happen is if you buy a website, you just have SEO done, because it's a moving target. People's search patterns change, and you need to know how people are looking for vehicles, especially in a world where voice search is now 25% of all the searches. Search is changing. You need to change your website and adapt to, basically, people are saying, I want to buy right now, so does your website answer their questions and deliver an experience that meets their expectations when they're doing searches? When we search for anything outside of auto or inside of auto, we have an expectation for how it's going to go, and how strong is your website in creating the experience that people expect and want. And then the better you are at that and delivering upon what their needs are, the more you're going to sell. I mean, you're going to sell more vehicles that way. So there's a couple different areas where you can get a good idea of what they are searching for. One of them is your paid search. You know, this is something that continues to surprise me, that there are, you know, paid search providers in our space or SEO providers in our space that don't do both, because the information from paid search helps power SEO, and the information from SEO helps power paid search. But we know the exact queries that people are going in and typing, and we know which of those queries on the paid search side, which of those queries are creating the phone calls, and they're creating you know, the engagements and interactions and driving traffic to you know, the particular vehicles that we're trying to sell. That's all in AdWords. There's query reports where you can say, okay, I know that this particular search term was searched for, you know, 1,500 times in the last, you know, 3 months. Do we have content on our website that meets that? Are we converting that? Is it converting well? And so how are we ranking on that same search term organically? You know, and likewise, you know, highly recommend you integrate Search Console into your Google Analytics. Most dealerships, I'd say probably about 90–95% of dealerships do not have this installed and integrated within their Google Analytics. But one of the coolest pieces of this is, just like on the paid search side, when we can look at what search terms people are looking for and how we're showing up and how we're converting, you can see organic search terms. So people on the organic side, what are they searching for? You know, we don't necessarily get the same level of detail on the conversion data, but we know the average position that we show up for those. You know, we know how often they're clicking on that, and what we might be able to do to make that better. We know how often these different searches are showing up in the market. And so if we build a strategy around people are searching for these things, where are we ranking in these things? Where are we creating the most conversions, the most shopping behavior? Then we're gonna win. And so to create that experience, though, you need some content marketing as part of your strategy. It's more than just an old buzzword. I mean, content marketing was the big buzzword 2 years ago, you know, at all of the different trade shows. And but really, it's what we want to create is an experience where people are telling us exactly what they are searching for, and we have all that data, and dealerships have all that data and should own their AdWords and should own their analytics and have that Search Console integrated and owned. You know what people are looking for. So the idea here is make sure that you have pages built that match and meet the expectations of those particular searches. People are doing searches for particular vehicles. They're doing service-related searches. They're doing used car-related searches. So make sure that you have pages for all of these high-volume search terms that are being searched for in a way that demonstrates intent. I'm ready to buy, for sale, 2018, showing the year. Even words like used shows intent to buy, because if you're looking to just research a vehicle, you're not just looking up the word used. You're looking for just Toyota Camry. And so that brings me to, when you build a strategy, you know exactly what people are searching for. You're building pages and a website experience that meets that expectation. How do you show up in those searches, and particularly in those right-to-win searches? Dealerships should expect to have high placement in these right-to-win searches. And I'm going to credit Denise Chuddy, one of my good friends over at Contact at Once, the CEO over there. That's her term, right-to-win. Basically, you should expect to be page 1 placement or better for things like 2018 Audi QC or Q3 for sale, your geography. People saying words like that, for sale 2018, again, demonstrating intent. Google recognizes that, and they want local businesses who can help to show up when there's content around that. So if you look at your particular market, and I wouldn't just go into Google and type all this stuff in and do hundreds of searches. I recommend a tool called Bright Local. Just Google search Bright Local, and you can do searches through that. That way you're not messing Google's algorithm by having hundreds of searches going to your dealership, so use that. But how are you showing up in searches like this for all of your different core series vehicles, or even some of your other vehicles? A lot of times some of those third parties are showing up or most of the time, I would say, when we're doing analyses for different dealership partners, the third-party websites are showing up, and we know that we don't convert as well on those third-party websites as we do when people are submitting leads on our site, because they're submitting leads often to the competitors. So what can we do to build more content on our site so we can rank in those top spots? Just another example here, and the SERPs, the search engine result pages, they're changing quite a bit. So that's the importance of showing up for 2018 Nissan Altima search here. Showing up organically, making sure you have your local SEO built out. And when you build out your SEO strategy that is built around an experience that matches what people want to see and want to experience, then you have a chance for your VDPs to show up too. You can have your specific page that's about the Nissan Altima in this case. You have your local SEO built out through a lot of those strategies that we've heard on many of these other webinars. And then same thing here. You can own this top 3 spots. But there's many different types of results that Google's continuing to change the way that they're showing searches. So another one, if you consider the paid search strategies that deliver the largest phone calls, the largest emails and conversions. It's those, make, model, or I'm sorry, it's those dealership near me searches or dealership geo searches. How are you showing up in those ones too? Make sure that you are keeping track of these things. If you're not showing up in the top spot for, Honda dealer near me or Honda dealership in the geo that you are in, your right to win search, then you're missing out on a ton of phone calls. So those are some measurements that you really want to keep track of. You deserve being the dealership nearest to them to show up in that top spot. How are you showing up in those spots And it's also important to note that not all SERPs are created equal too. Google has a great way of understanding the intent behind a search, because obviously there's the millions or billions or whatever queries that come in each day. So they're trying to deliver that experience to the customer that's going to keep them coming back and marrying the expectations. So like a search like Ford F-150, they're going to deliver results like this, where it's Ford.com is showing up, Wikipedia is showing up, Car and Driver. So again, when we're building out content, we're building out these pages on websites, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're marrying intent and building a strategy around the types of queries and terms that say, I am in market looking to buy. I'm not just trying to figure out what a Ford F-150 is. I'm trying to sell a Ford F-150 to someone who says, I want a 2018 Ford F-150 with these options and for sale right now, right this second, nearest me. So how's that working out? When you build a strategy around where you have the biggest opportunity to drive more traffic and then continue to build on that, you're going to get more. You're not going to often win for searches like cars for sale in my local town, although when you have a very robust strategy where you're building all this great content and Google is recognizing that you are an authority in your market, you can even show up for searches like this, cars for sale, your geography. But it starts with tracking some of those keywords. So again, we're taking AdWords data, we're taking Search Console data. We know what people are searching for in our market, and we know that these searches are saying, I'm probably gonna buy a car because my search is telling me I'm looking for a Toyota lease deals. I'm looking for a 2018 Toyota 4Runner, for sale. I'm looking for a Toyota dealership near me. Those kind of searches. Start tracking those. This is a tool within Moz, which is a platform that I highly recommend. For this purpose. How are you showing up in those searches? How are your 3 competitors showing up in these searches? And where you're not winning, how can that help propel perhaps your paid search strategy or some of your other strategies, and how can you build more content and meet those expectations and do it around winnability? You're not going to win likely for a Ford F-150 search. I mean, it definitely can happen, but first you're going to win on a 2018 Ford F-150 near me search where someone is pretty much raising their hand and saying, I'm ready to buy. So are you going to show up first or not? How are you doing in these? And keyword tracking isn't dead. I mean, this is still something that is, these are people in their market raising their hands. So when people say that kind of stuff, I just think that's nuts. And again, other presentations I've given, I've gotten into a lot more detail about some of these things. But again, we're spending $630 for every single car that we're selling. It's important if you're paying for SEO, and dealerships should invest in SEO to show up in these kind of searches, that you have a decent idea of what some of these things are. Do you have meta on your website? That's really in the auto industry for dealerships, probably the most important part of on-site SEO. The quality content to show up in those searches, things like structured data, page speed. Eliana, like you mentioned, to get started, how important page speed is. Not having that duplicate content, not thinking that you pay for a manufacturer site and then all of a sudden you're ready to go. These things are important for you to rank and show up and be found when people are looking for you. But building that strategy around what people are looking for isn't where it ends, though, because that's just the clicks, like we said before. Clicks are just clicks if the user's not shopping. So do you have a plan for your website to increase the conversion and the shopping behavior on your website? A lot of people kind of stop at SEO and then they drive all this traffic and they're like, well, it's not working. Well, because you can't just drive traffic. You got to make sure that the traffic is doing what you want them to do. So Eliana, final poll question on that note about the conversion. Would you mind polling the audience?
I would absolutely love it. All right, audience. Final poll question is on the screen now. We want to know, how would you rate your current conversion optimization strategy? Please select one of the following. Hey, we are expert status, conversion. Wait, what does CRO mean again? Conversion. Wait, I forget again.
Yeah. Conversion rate optimization.
Conversion rate optimization are my initials. That's it. That's funny. Okay, so are you an expert? Do you feel that you're above average but think you have room to improve? Do you have a vendor that handles your conversion optimization for you so you're really not sure how you would rate it? You know what? You feel you aren't consistent or you really do feel that you need help with your conversion optimization strategy, or I have no idea what you're talking about. What is conversion optimization strategy? Once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close this poll and share the results. Audience is on their toes today. Thank you so much for the quick votes, everyone. Yes, we want to know, how would you rate your current conversion optimization strategy? We'll leave this poll open for a few more seconds, and then we'll close this poll and share it with everyone. In the meantime, I want to remind all of you, hey, send in those questions for today's Dealer On webinar presenter, Dave Spannhake. We're going to be getting to the Q&A session in just a little bit, and we want to know how we can help you improve your traffic and conversion now. All right, everyone, here we go. Dave, if you're ready, I will close this poll, and let's see what the audience had to say.
All right, I'm ready.
All right, audience, thank you so much for voting in all of our poll questions. We really appreciate it. Here are the results from the third and final question. How would you rate your current conversion optimization strategy? Well, only 3% of today's audience believe that they are experts in conversion optimization. Wow. Okay, A third of today's audience, 33%, say they believe they are above average, but they realize they have room to improve. Another third of today's audience believe that they're not sure how their conversion optimization strategy is because, you know what? They have a vendor that handles it for them. 23% of today's audience, so just below a quarter, say they admit they're not consistent with it. And yeah, they probably really need some help with their conversion optimization strategy. And then 7% just don't even know what we were talking about. Dave. So let me get this straight. If you're talking about conversion optimization strategy, this doesn't happen by accident. It's actually something that you have to work towards to get more people to convert on your website. Like, should you be doing A/B testing? You know what? Save me the surprise. Tell me what we should be doing. Why don't you just tell all of us, what should we be doing to improve our optimization?
Yeah, well, it is, I think, probably the biggest opportunity for dealerships in terms of creating more traffic on their website that largely goes unplanned within their marketing strategy. But again, we're getting tens of thousands of page views or thousands or tens of thousands of people coming to our website. And all those things we talked about with Google Analytics at the beginning, are we getting them to do what we want them to do on our website? Are they making phone calls? Are they submitting leads? Are they going to the VDPs? When you have all that set up, you can look page by page, device by device, city by city by city, all sorts of different dimensions to say, here is where I can make some changes to either some of the traffic pieces or on the website to increase the number of people that are calling the dealership, increase the number of people that are interacting with me, and decreasing the percentage of people who are leaving. And it starts with the homepage. What's the purpose of the homepage? I think a lot of dealerships these days, try to add a bunch of flair and spend a lot of time making their homepage stand out. But really, what people are on a homepage because they're trying to get to another page. And this is an example of a Google Analytics detail for the homepage. How much time are they spending on their 23 seconds? We see 15 seconds. If people don't spend very much time on the homepage. I'm going to get out of this for just one quick second to show some examples, and this is a pretty cool tool that I think that you all will enjoy. It's called Hotjar, and you can sign up for this for free for a limited number of pages, but really with the volume of people who are going to your homepage and to your SRPs, your search result pages, and your VDPs, your vehicle detail pages, it's worth putting on there and seeing how they interact. But I'm going to just show you, here's a typical person coming to the homepage of a website. They get there. They're not spending much time. They just want to search for inventory, right? Same thing here, just another example. Someone coming right to a website, what are they trying to do? They're not trying to wait for 15 banners to go through and see the latest specials and deals. No, they are looking and searching for the specific vehicle that they want to do, or they're looking to schedule a service. So how easy are you making it on your website to get people to do that, to interact? So,
that was a cool tool. What was that called again?
Yeah, it's Hotjar.
Hotjar.
Yeah, highly recommend it. The number of hours I've lost just sitting and watching people click on dealership websites is kind of preposterous and a little embarrassing, so I won't probably get too much into that. But it's really fun to see. How are people having problems on your website? Are they having problems with your search filters or getting to where you want them to go to? And just watching people interact, it tells you so much,
Yeah.
Just like the data too.
And it shows it to you in real time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so like if they're on your site for 10 minutes, it's a 10-minute video and it shows you like every page they went to. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's actually a lot. I geek out about that kind of stuff, and then just looking at the data to find, okay, why are we losing people? Why are they leaving? What are they not doing? But then as an industry, we're doing things like this where, oh, hey, let's get 15 homepage banners with all of our specials and spend all of our time doing this instead of the things that are more important in increasing the shopping behavior. Here's a little study we did.
Oh, hold on one second. Hold on one second, real fast, because we had a number of people who wrote in. They said, what was the name of that again? Was it Hotjar?
Oh, yeah.
Hotjar, right?
Yeah.
Hotjar. And Chuck wrote in, he's like, can you watch your competitor's site with it? Always thinking, Chuck, I love that about you.
Yeah. I sure wish we could. That's but one of the things in just this study and others is there's a ton of data out there about what all different dealerships are doing in terms of user behavior, that I think we need to start holding our vendors more accountable to be looking at all of the data they have with all their different dealerships and making decisions based on this is how millions or billions of data sets are telling us this is how people behave. So I mean, in this example here, again, spending all this time on home pages and cleaning those things up. Well, 80% of people, like I said, spending like 20 seconds on home pages. 80% of people are going directly to SRPs, so search result pages, clicking on the navigation or the inventory search. Only 6% of people are actually clicking on any of those banners. The first banner makes up about 46% of that 6%, and then if you go beyond 3 banners, only 0.86% of the clicks are going beyond 3 banners. So my big recommendation is quit wasting your time on that. Get 3 banners in there that are trying to drive people to pages that you want them to go to, and then focus way more on some of the other things that are going to, again, increase that shopping behavior, decrease the exit. Where are you leaving? Let's refocus on the things that are going to make it easier to shop. So here's a graph here of the last 100 of dealerships that we've had entering our conversion process, and just what we're looking at here is what were the click-through rates to the SRPs, from the homepage to the SRPs, and this one was just so telling for us that it's all over the place. Some dealerships are close to 80% of from the homepage clicking to the SRP as their next click. But some dealerships are under 20%, under 40%, and the big opportunity here is to, one, anyone who's not below a particular threshold, increase that and leverage all this industry information to drive more traffic. But it's just so telling as an industry that we are so all over the place in creating that user experience that dealerships or that users want. Users are on a homepage and they want to go look for inventory. So how easy is it to look for that inventory? And you can take a pretty good guess here on the dealerships who are selling more cars and have better closing rates than those, and in terms of lead generation, than those who don't. Those that are above 60% click-through rate from their homepage to SRPs, those are the ones who are winning. Those are the ones who have the best closing rate. And again, it's really important as we consider some of those things, getting people to do what we want them to do and looking at some of these metrics, that every time someone clicks and does an incremental click, a percentage of those people are going to exit and leave the site. So how easy can we make it? Every page that we build on the website, every entrance that people are coming in volume to the website, are we looking at those things and making sure that page or those pages are driving people, either closing them there and getting the macro conversion, the phone call, the email, the chat, the text, or are we taking them where we want to take them across the website? So exit rate's a very important piece here. Sometimes you're going to have blogs perhaps, to help your SEO traffic strategy to really build the authority of a website where you're going to have high exit rates. That's okay. But, on your homepage, what if you have 29% exit rate and you can decrease that to 25% and drive more people to your website, and you have 5% less people dropping off and that much greater chance to interact and engage with you and submit a lead, and your new car search results pages, your used car search result pages. That's why all these percentages matter so much, and where that A/B testing that you were talking about comes in. So I've got some easy wins for us here on just on the homepage. There's a lot of dealership websites that don't even have an inventory search widget installed. So make sure you have that.
Come on. Now you're just making things up. There's no way. Seriously?
Eliana, not all dealerships have dealer-on websites, unfortunately, right?
Come on. Oh, I just can't believe there's still people out there like that.
It's wild, though. But, I mean, even the navigation, some websites have very cluttered navigation. It's not clean, easy to use. Break out new and used into different sections. How easy can you make it for your customer to find what they're looking for so that you don't give them the opportunity to leave your site before they find it? The above the fold, along with the search widgets, what do those buttons look like? Are you driving people to pages that they're not going to submit a lead on and it's not where you want them to go? Or are you driving them to new car vehicles, used car vehicles, schedule service, maybe the specials page if that's a good converting page for you, which a lot of those aren't? you have too many pop-ups installed. What happens if you remove some of those pop-ups? How does that affect conversion? Measure all these things. Is your phone number, your directions in the header? And again, like with that Hotjar that we were showing too, play as a user or watch users how they behave across all the different devices, not just the desktop like I showed in those examples, but you can do the same thing on mobile. How are people behaving, and watch and do it yourself. And remember that where most of your leads are coming from, we want to drive people to the SRPs, the search result pages, to the VDPs. 61% of the email leads happen on those pages. 27% of phone calls happen on those pages. And again, with phone calls, we know that about 2/3 of phone calls across our industry are service related. So 27% of phone calls happening on these pages, that's a huge percentage of the new car and used car leads that we're getting. So are we getting people there? Where are we not getting them there? Are those pages, are they engaging the way we want to? And if you're a multi-store group, are you comparing those different percentages, your click-through rates, your conversion rates on these pages with other dealerships within your group? And then are you asking your vendors, are your vendors doing that? They have tons of data available to them. We need to start challenging more vendors in our industry to use all this data to help increase your performance. So some easy wins too, just like we had on the homepage, some easy wins on the SRPs and VDPs to increase your conversion. Are you getting people excited and interested? One, how easy is it to click through to a VDP? Eliana, and I know this is probably another surprising one for you, but there's a lot of websites out there that it is really hard to even click on a VDP. Like, what are ways that you can make it so, okay, I want to actually see more details about this vehicle, and which websites work the best to increase that click-through rate to VDPs, or those, get e-price buttons, and which ones don't? What's the language that works? And this is the second. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just going to say, in your opinion, how many clicks should it take to get to a VDP?
As few as possible.
So how many is too many? Like, is 4 too many?
Well, it depends, because every user is so different. Every user is at such different, places within their funnel. Some people are coming to your website and they don't even know if they want a sedan or a truck or SUV or whatever. So they might be, maneuvering through the SRPs for a lot longer. It's just when they're ready, how easy is it for them to get to it?
Yeah, without that inventory widget on your homepage, though, it could take up to 9 clicks sometimes to get to a VDP, but that kind of inventory search, they, if they come to, let's say, a Toyota website through a search they did for a specific model of Toyota, that widget should, when they get to your homepage, show them that model and should be like literally, oh, that's what I was looking for, click, and go right to it.
Yeah. Or, even having, driving them 2 pages with that model and the inventory of that model too, directly relating to that search.
So bypass the homepage altogether and go straight to the VDP. Heck yeah, that should be doing that.
So, and all this data is available for you to be testing and looking at within your analytics. And the number 2 easy win here is the one that I would say probably is the biggest opportunity for dealerships that I see, just because those search filters are all over the place. How are people searching on your website? Do you have, is price the number 1 thing that they're filtering, or a year, or type of car? Because all that data exists within your analytics. You can tell how people want to interact, or you arranging your search filter in a way that's prioritized based on that. So again, let's keep making it easy, because every percentage point increases the chances you're going to sell that many more cars. It's not one of those things. 1%, 2% increase in conversion. We're talking about 5, 10, 20 more car deals when you make these kind of changes, because you're making it so that people don't leave your site before you get the chance to interact with them. You have mobile click-to-calls on every vehicle. Don't overdo the form submissions. A lot of dealerships, they have like 8, 9, 10 different options on the SRPs and VDPs and what to click. People don't even know what to do then, because you're making it hard and difficult. So clean that up. Clean up the look and feel. 2 or 3 is all you want and all you need. And when you start having more than that, you decrease your percentage of people click in because they don't know what to do. They're like, there's too much going on here. Of course, merchandising is still that important. Your photos, your seller's notes, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, be looking at your competitors. How does their stuff look? There's always good ideas across the market. And then again, shop your own site. How are people behaving? That Hotjar tool is cool, you know, as you saw before. I mean, and just yourself, get in there and look at that stuff. So as we're nearing the close here, I wanted to just give, I mean, a little bit of insight too. I mean, again, there's just billions of data sets out there of information on ways that you can increase that conversion and you can create that much better results. You know, how does your dealership compare to these benchmarks? Are you asking your vendors these kind of questions? Are you asking them, hey, what is good? You know, what should I expect for these kind of things? You know, like, so people like on SRPs that click on BDPs, you know, in aggregate, we're seeing about 23% of the click-through rate there. How do you compare to that? New car or new SRP to BDP click-through rate, 23%. How many total users on your website are even seeing a BDP and looking at the vehicles that you're trying to get in front of? 17% on average, 19% use BDPs. You know, if you were to increase that number to 25%, you know, and we see you know, a lot of well-optimized websites where it is, you know, significantly higher than that. How many more cars are you going to sell if you get that many more people looking at your inventory and engaging with you and interacting with you in these ways? So really start looking at this data, because we're spending all this money, you know, more than $500,000 a year for the average dealership. Like I said, around 600,000, and a lot of dealerships spending in the millions of dollars in advertising to get them to this point. Let's use this information to increase our results. You know, on paid search conversion, you know, across the data sets that we're looking at, that should be pretty close to your organic conversion. If your paid conversion is significantly lower than your organic, then you're overspending. If it's significantly higher, then you're probably not showing up in as many searches as you want to show up for some of those highly converting pages. You want that number to be 0. What is it? You know, how does your paid search conversion compare to your organic? And segment that out and look at it. Mobile conversion too. I mean, a lot of people have this myth that on mobile websites that they don't convert the same way as desktop. Well, that's just simply not true. If it is underperforming, that means that you need to optimize your mobile site to create a better experience that matches behavior. But, you know, across the dealership set that we looked at, hundreds of dealerships worth of data, -1% was the total variance, which is basically 0, right? Mobile should work the same way as desktop, and if it's not, then what pages? Why is it not converting the same way? You know, and then just some more data here. Just mobile sessions right now, 51%. So just keeping mobile top of mind too as we look at these things.
These are great
so are
stats.
We challenging?
Where did you get these from?
These are stats that we have pulled from all of the dealerships that we've worked with. So right around 150 dealerships worth of data. And the more that you can add to that data set or challenge vendors across the industry to, hey, use data that you have available. You have you know, so many great vendors out there working with hundreds or thousands of dealerships. This data is out there and it's not being used, and it's time to start using it, because that's where you're going to start selling more cars, is when you're using this information to create better results.
No, I agree. And then do you also think dealers should be comparing it to year-over-year results to make sure that they actually are improving year-over-year, or it's a new year, a new strategy, don't even worry about what you did last year?
Well, we like to look at things and recommend like a 13-month analysis so we can see trend over time. So definitely year over year, definitely the last 6 months, definitely the last 3 months, and just making sure that you're trending the right way. You know, are you increasing your keyword rankings? Are you increasing your organic traffic? Are you increasing your conversion? And if you're not, then you're doing something wrong, because when the data's there and you can pinpoint what the problems are, you should be able to fix those problems and attack those problems and increase your results. So,
okay, so I don't think... Oh, I'm sorry, finish your thought.
Oh, no, I'm good.
Well, I was wondering, because I don't know if dealers are doing that kind of evaluation on a ongoing basis. I mean, I know that there's many dealers out there who have a more set it and forget it kind of mentality when it comes to looking at this data. So if you could recommend how often a dealership or somebody in the dealership should be looking at this data and then tweaking what they see. I mean, should it be I mean, I'm sure it's not every week, but should it be like every quarter? Is it an every month kind of thing, or is it once a year? What are we talking here?
I think for a dealer principal or a general manager, once a month, as long as you have reporting set up, I think that's fine to make sure that you are holding the people who are doing this accountable to increase those results. Mm-hmm. But the big challenge here is, or I guess the big opportunity or way to look at it is we're spending, again, hundreds of thousands of dollars driving people to our website, and creating interest in our, makes and models in the market. How effective are we in closing them, or what can we do to increase that conversion or our visibility when people are raising their hands screaming, I'm ready to buy a car. The dealer principals, GMs, once a month, making sure that you have someone working for you or with you to create the results, and then expect to create the results because the data is there to prove it, right?
Yeah. Okay, please go ahead. I see you have your suggested resources on here. I can't wait to hear more about this.
Yeah, so these are just some things that wanted to throw out there as other things that I'd recommend just taking a look at to keep up with what's going on in the market or other ideas and what I like to look at. So I have personal slideshare.net / Dave Spannhake. It's got a number of other presentation PowerPoint slides that I've done at different conferences, and a couple with you, Eliana, that are in there on all things SEO, SEM, social media, building a budget, all sorts of stuff like that. We have a blog that we love, reunionmarketing.com/blog. I love my LinkedIn group, which you can enter and ask to be part of. Automotive Digital Marketing is the name of it. There's typically 8-10 conversations happening every day about all things digital marketing, and it's great for idea generation, and there's a ton of people in that group. Outside of auto, there's a lot of great conversation happening on search engine land. And then Moz, they have a weekly newsletter that I signed up for that, every week I get 10 new articles about all things that are new and out there, and must-read information each week, so things that I'd recommend on that piece. And I guess I would, say action items to finish up here that I would challenge, everyone in the audience to go back through and do to create some of these results that we're talking about here is go back through your goals and your events in Google Analytics, and confirm that you have enough shopping behavior measurement to understand your buyers. Do some of those right to win searches and see how you show up, and make sure that they're going to the pages that you want them to go to. Again, like a Toyota Camry search, is it going to a Toyota Camry page? And again, I recommend using Bright Local for that, so you don't mess too much with Google. Bright Local will act as Google in your market. And then identify like your CTR, your click-through rate to your primary purpose pages, like your search result pages, your vehicle detail pages. Begin measuring the engagement on those pages, the lead conversion on these pages, looking at all the data that GA has. Begin measuring this and begin comparing it to the industry, because that's where you're going to start seeing those increases in sales, because people are doing what they expect to do and what you want them to do, and marrying that as part of the strategy. So, Eliana, with that, that's all I got.
You did great, Dave Spannhake. Thank you so much. I'll let you take a drink now while I talk to the audience a little bit. All right, audience, that was a great presentation, right? I hope you learned a lot. I know I did. And don't worry. Guess what? I got you covered. I know your hand is probably cramping from taking all the notes. Guess what? If you check out the handouts section of the GoToWebinar interface, well, in there, you're going to be able to download immediately, like right now until the end of this broadcast, David's deck. All right, so look in on your GoToWebinar interface and look kind of low. Look for the word that says handouts. Click on the little triangle next to it. Open it up, and in there, you'll be able to download David's slide deck. Okay, if you have any problems whatsoever downloading that deck, it's okay. Email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com, and I'll take care of you. I'll email it to you. All right, but that is available to you right now for immediate download until the end of this broadcast. Now, if you haven't gotten in your question yet for Dave Spannhake, CEO of Reunion Marketing, well, what are you waiting for? I'll tell you right now, David, we have a number of great questions that have come in for you, so I hope you're ready for the Q&A session. All right, we're going to be getting to that.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. And you can turn on your webcam anytime now, Dave, all right? Looking forward to seeing your handsome face. Now, audience, I hope you're ready for this. If you were here at the beginning of the webinar, well, then you heard me announce that our good friends over at Reunion Marketing, they're giving away such a good prize today. I hope you're ready for this, people. One of you very lucky webinar attendees are going to be winning a Nintendo Switch. Seriously, I got a 10-year-old boy over here, and I'm going to tell you, that is his absolute favorite thing, and he has all the gaming systems, unfortunately. But this one, super fun, portable. I mean, it is the hottest toy on the market. So it's great for adults, but especially if you have a kid, and especially if you have boys, this is a great, I just can't even say enough nice things about it. It's valued at $400. It's big time. You will be like, so awesome if you came home with this thing. But right now, only one of you gets to win this, and all you have to do is be the first person to correctly answer our giveaway question. So get to your keyboards, everyone. Good luck. I do want to say real quick, we love you vendors coming on the Dealer On webinars. Always, always, always welcome here. But this prize is intended for dealership personnel only. So we're going to ask you to kindly sit this little contest out and let somebody on the dealership side win this very, very cool prize. All right, everyone, here we go. Good luck. According to NADA, what is the average amount of money that car dealers spend on advertising for every car they sell? Oh my goodness, everyone got that one right. Okay, let's see. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. Hold on. Somebody got this right. Let's see. Tim Dill, congratulations, $630. Wow, Tim, for all the times you have been on my show, I really don't think you've ever won a prize on my show. Is this your first Dealer On webinar prize? I am so excited for you, Tim Dill. Congratulations, Tim Dill. Second prize.
Yeah, congrats.
Well, all right, Tim, give me your dealership name and inflammation so I can make sure to give you a proper congratulations. While you're writing that in, I want to talk to everyone else out there. Guess what? Your name isn't Tim Dill. I know. My name isn't Tim Dill either, so I didn't get to win this cool prize either. But you know what? It's okay. Tim's going to take this one home, but we give away cool prizes every week on the Dealer On webinar. So come on back to another one, and that could be the day you win a cool prize. For right now, we're congratulating Tim Dill, who still hasn't told me what dealership he's from. Nope, still hasn't told me what dealership he's from. So hopefully, oh, here we go. He's from Ball Ford. I don't really know how to say it, but it's one of those. So congratulations, Tim. Good luck on playing all of those very cool Nintendo games. You're going to love them. And you know what? We got to thank our good friends over at Reunion Marketing for their incredible generosity. Very cool prize. Thank you so much, Dave. All right. Now, let's get to some of your questions. Are you ready for this? You took definite drinks of water, Dave. You're ready for this? You're going to be sitting there a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're ready. All right. First question came in nice and early from Paul. Hey, Paul. He says, for the goals setup in Google Analytics, can you receive conversion results on a month-to-month basis?
Yeah, and once you have the goals properly set up, you can make it daily, hourly, weekly, monthly, annually.
Really?
Yeah, and it's great for comparison too. So to make sure you make a change on your SRPs, for instance, or on a specific page and driving a lot of traffic, you want to do those comparisons too, and you want to look at it over a period of time. I like to look at it monthly, really, just to make sure that you're statistically relevant in terms of how many people are coming. But you make a change, try the new things out, and then compare.
Okay, so would you, the update alerts, would you have different time frames set up for different testing that you do, or should you always be like, hey, we're going to check back on this in 1 month? Should you give it a month, or like do some things merit, hey, let's look at this in a day, let's look at this in a week?
Yeah, I'd say, it certainly depends on the type of test. So, okay, if you're making a pretty major change to your SRPs, where you're getting, 5, 10, 20,000 page views over the course of a week, or, just make sure that you don't overreact to a test if you don't have enough people to be statistically relevant. Mm-hmm. But if it's a very, very crucial part of the website that you're making a potential game-changing kind of test, or one that could, a sink or swim kind of deal, then yeah, check on that much sooner. Just make sure you have a plan for that test. But those ones more often than a month, I'd say.
Okay, very good. Paul, thank you so much for the great question. All right, next one comes in from George. And George says, how important is minified CSS, JavaScript, and code for page load speed? I recently used an SEO auditing tool which told me I had over 800 instances of unminified content on pages. This was a startling number, and it seemed like a really big issue. Now, Dave, before you answer, I just want to tell George and everyone else, we are having Dealeron's very own SEO manager on the show, not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. So March 22nd, Steve Shackelford will be here. So those kinds of questions would be perfect to ask him. So we're going to see what Dave says, but just in case, just so you know, George and everyone else who has questions like that, hey, please feel free to come on back on March 22nd and ask those types of questions to our SEO expert over here at Dealeron. Now, Dave, I've never heard of minified CSS JavaScript. So, Dave, is there something you can tell George about this?
Yeah, so the answer really is it depends on that. So, one, your page speed is incredibly important. You know, that's something that, Eliana alluded to start the show, and we talked a little bit about some of the technical SEO pieces. And Google has announced that it is officially a ranking factor starting this summer. So it's really important because it's gonna affect how you show up in those searches. But like with anything else, if you're doing some kind of audit or having someone audit your stuff, you can find, and you always will find, thousands of errors that are on the website. So the question to ask is, how much is this affecting the load time? You're going to always have some minified CSS errors. If you're looking at, Google's Page Speed Insights or any of the other tools, that's always going to be part of it. But how much is it actually impacting the load time? A lot of times what we see is the bigger opportunity to decrease load time is, making your images smaller. A lot of times within the CMS framework of who we can have and can't have, but based on the manufacturer, you're not going to be able to change those problems because they're happening on a platform wide. You can share that information with, folks like Dealeron. They do listen to that information, and their websites are some of the fastest loading, probably the fastest loading out there. But there's other website providers that have, I'm not going to say who they are, although a lot of people on the show probably could guess, that have major problems with just the framework of the setup. So the big question to ask is, wherever that report came from, how much is it actually affecting your load time, and what is your load time? Is it less than 3 seconds? If not, okay, then we probably have a problem.
Okay. Real fast, George had a follow-up. He says, would it maybe be best to send those results to our vendor and ask them to tell us the importance of that?
Yes, definitely. And it's just the big question is, how much is it affecting load time, and what is the load time? And if it's higher than 3 seconds, that's bad. By the way, talking about Google Analytics reports, that's a report within your Google Analytics that you can also look at, is your page speed load time for the homepage across the site. And then if you have particular pages that get a lot of volume, are there some pages that are going slower than others? And again, it's a ranking factor officially from Google, so that importance of that has certainly stepped up.
George wrote back in again. He says, I have a feeling that the last time we looked at it, it was around 5 to 6 seconds. I'm going to check again as we just got a new page. George, we wish you the very best of luck with that, sir. Okay, I have to make an apology. My fingers were too fast, and I accidentally erased a question, and I can't get it back. So if you recently wrote in a question, very recently, I want to say it was Paul, but maybe it wasn't. But if you did, if you could please write that question back in, my apologies. My fingers were too fast. Okay, let's go to the next question. Next one comes in from Amy. Amy says, can you identify the path on Google Analytics to show click-through rate from the home page to the SRP?
Yes, that's one of the reports. You can look at a previous page path. So if you go to your SRPs and you look at previous page path and then look at how many are coming from the home page, and you can take that number and compare that to the home page. That's a question that really we need to just write a blog about that and put that up on our website. How to measure CTR.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, we'll write a how-to blog on how to do that and have that up on our homepage here in the next week too.
Ooh, really?
On Reunion Marketing blog. Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's one that I think a lot of people are going to want to do the how-tos on that. But you can just look at your previous page path and find that information out. But we'll write that up, and so be on the lookout for that. That's a great idea.
Oh, Amy's very happy about that. She says, yes, give me a blog. All right, Amy, thank you so much. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. All right, next question comes in from Josh. Josh says, what are some best content marketing practices that you see from other dealers? So, Dave, I know you deal with a lot of dealers, and certainly a lot of them, of course, are your customers. But have you crossed paths with something you said, hey, that's a pretty good idea, that you can maybe share with Josh and the rest of us?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest one is to really understand what it is people want to look for, mm-hmm. and make sure you're showing up for those searches. So building a strategy that's based on the volume of searches that are happening, and make sure that those pages are built around intent. So there's a lot of people that are asking questions. You can build some really fantastic blogs that could rank and get thousands of visits to your website, but are not going to convert at all about things like what does this dashboard icon mean? And those are good things to do, because if you can rank for some of those searches, it's going to increase the authority of your website. But I wouldn't, put a major focus on those kind of things until you prioritize based on, hey, am I showing up for this intent search where someone's saying, I want to buy a car now? So just prioritize your efforts is probably my biggest recommendation, mm-hmm. based on this person wants to buy, so show up there first. And then once you dominate that area where, you're in those first spots for all of the different types of searches where people are raising their hand saying, I want to buy right now, then start, continuing to increase your search impression share, I guess, organically for some of those bigger searches, and start building up the relevance to your website, right. and starting a blog strategy then. But just prioritize. Prioritization is something that we just don't do enough of for both traffic and for conversion.
Yeah, and beware of vendors who are trying to talk you into long tail keywords that no one ever uses, all right? So great question. Thank you so much, Josh. All right, next one comes in from Michelle. Michelle says, this may not be related. She's going to ask anyway because she's curious. Why, when I do a search on Google, our website shows up, but when I do a voice search on an Android phone, same thing, very cool, but when I ask on an iPhone, Siri, for instance, of course, of dealerships closest to me, and I'm literally sitting in my dealership, why is only our competitor showing up? What the heck is going on, and how do I fix it?
So that's, probably an Apple Maps problem then, where one of the things that, one of our first recommendations is to make sure that you are highly visible and you have all of your directories well built out. So mm-hmm. making sure that you're showing up on, you have your Google My Business page claimed and have your Apple Maps claimed. Most dealerships, again, this is another 9 out of 10 or more, have not claimed the Apple Maps piece. Mm. The number of times that I've been on trips with our VP of Sales, Chad, where we've had to turn around because our Apple Maps took us to the wrong place. More times than I can count, really. So dealerships, that's a major problem within the industry. Aren't claiming all their devices, but half of the people that have smartphones have Apple, so right. Claim your Apple Maps, and that is, I would say, very likely the culprit in that case.
Yeah, one of the things I think that we're going to be talking about with DealerOn's SEO expert on the 22nd, so in a couple weeks, he's going to talk about citations and how important they are. And Michelle, by the way, wrote in, she said, perfect, thank you. Paul wrote in, he says, wait a minute, how do you claim your Apple Maps? Yeah, you have to claim all those citations. It should be something that you actively try and do and make sure that those citations are up to speed. Do you have a real quick, how can you claim your Apple Maps? I assume it's a lot like claiming your business listing on Google?
Yeah, it's just like that. I mean, their process. I mean, just like Yelp, just like you know, all the other directories, really. If that's not part of your strategy, though, it really needs to be, because local SEO is such a. It's not one that we touched on very much today. Talking more about just some of the on-site pieces to increase your visibility, but it has to be part of your strategy, because that's how people are often finding. And Google also uses those directories as a ranking factor for your website as well. So,
right.
You know, make sure that you are claimed across at least, you know, some of the big 4 or 5 directory sites. But I mean, there's scores of them. There's so many directories that you want to get all your information out there and be seen on.
Absolutely. Okay, Paul wrote in, he said, I will definitely look into this. Thank you. Josh says the only thing about Apple Maps is you can't use a tracking phone number. I don't know if that's a make it or break it thing. Also, I didn't post it yet.
I would say, Eliana, on that note, though, one thing that I would recommend, if you need to use a tracking number, use a local one and make it consistent across all those too, because, you know, just like you mentioned, those citations being so important, those citations, basically the information that is on all those websites, name, address, phone number, Google looks and measures how consistent you are with those. So if you have a different phone number across all those directory sites, it's actually going to hurt your ranking, and it's going to hurt your authority, because you aren't consistent. And so consistent citations are important. So I would highly encourage you to, if you're going to track, make it a local number and make it the same across all your directory sites. And most of them come from Google anyway.
Yes, yes, that is exactly what I have heard from our very own guru over here at Dealer On, Greg Gifford. So thank you so much for pointing that out, Dave. Thank you so much for the comment, Josh. And also, I was very excited. I haven't posted it yet, but we're actually in another few weeks, maybe in 3 weeks, we're going to have Justin Nabazna. He's from Google. Specifically, he's going to be talking about Waze from Google, which is, as you know, a directional local tool that Google has, and it's growing in vast popularity. So a lot of people really, really enjoy it, and he's going to tell us all how Waze can help you get more traffic into your showroom. So that'll be coming up soon, so make sure you watch out for that. It's going to be coming up in April. Okay, next question, and I got to tell you, this one, this gets under my skin. But maybe it's just me, and I'm going to tell you the question, and then you tell me your thoughts on this, Dave, because really that's all we really care about is what you think. So Tracy wrote in, and she says, how would you handle a vendor who doesn't want to go over their traffic numbers in Google Analytics because they claim that Google Analytics is not reliable? Dave?
Yes, I forgot I was on webcam there, so sorry for the reaction on that one. But
so you had the same reaction I did, which is you need to get a new vendor.
Yeah. It's like the most impartial, objective tool there is. I mean, there are some limitations with it. You can spend a ton of money to get even more data, but there's not a vendor in our space that has better reporting and more robust reporting with as many dimensions and metrics to identify opportunities. So, I mean, I would 100% recommend to use Google Analytics and not the vendor's reporting, because their reporting, because of them being a vendor, is going to be potentially biased, and you want to have that objectivity that Google is constantly refining and creating. And you know, there's a reason millions of businesses use Google Analytics for their reporting, because it has a level of objectivity, and I would highly encourage you to tell them, well, we're using it anyway, whether you want to or not.
Tracy? I hope that made it clear for you. If you have a follow-up question, well, we'd love to hear back from you. All right. Kanitra says, thanks for the awesome content. Okay, Paul, the missing question that I told you I accidentally, we got it. Paul, thank you so much for writing back in. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience. Fingers too fast. Okay, Paul says, can we measure third-party vendors from our site too on Google Analytics, like trade tools?
So, like trade pending or different chat tools and those kind of things? The answer is yes, and vendors are getting a lot better at it. I mean, there are those like Trade Pending and a lot of the chat companies who have really made a concerted effort to, put GTM data, Google Tag Manager data in there and trigger events. Anytime you're paying a vendor to put stuff on your website, I would make sure that they have event tracking triggering what's happening on the website, because, or if you know how to set that up too, or have a digital partner who can set that up for you, because you're paying for that performance, and Google Analytics is going to be a good way to verify some of that reporting, like we just talked about, to make sure that people are in fact doing those things. But the way that it happens is you set up event tracking in Google Tag Manager, and then from there you can use those events to create goals based on those events actually happening on the website, and then that's where you can see what pages are happening the most on, and how to optimize your site to get the best use out of those tools. And don't overdo those tools. It just depends on the intent of the user and how you can marry that stuff. But there's definitely a lot of good vendors out there that are beginning those best practices, which is great to see. On the service side, a lot of the service schedules are still behind. So let's all keep challenging them as an industry to step up their game, like our friends at Trade Pending and some of those other ones.
All right, excellent. All right, Dave, you're doing great. We only have a few more questions, and then we're going to close out this show. Audience, if you have a question that you haven't asked yet, now would be the time to get it in, all right? Next question comes in from Tom. Tom says, I keep seeing articles that say SEO is dead. What? Like you do? Oh, my goodness. Okay, what do you think about that? Dave, I've never seen these articles. Are there really people out there who are saying SEO is dead? Who are these mystery people who are trying to hurt your business?
Yeah, that is clickbait city is what that is. And it's, the way that people used to think of SEO was put a bunch of keywords on the homepage and then have the homepage show up, and black hat tactics. And, really, it's actually really bad advice, because still the majority of your traffic, if you look at Google Analytics, is coming in organically. If it's not, then you have a problem too. You're either overspending on paid search or whatever channel, but most of your traffic should be coming in organically. It's not dead, and those kind of articles are just, they're all over the place saying, but it's changed is what it is now though. So instead of, keyword stuffing your homepage and having all this content driving traffic to your homepage, it's about people expect to find what they're looking for specifically. So if they're looking for a Honda Accord, then you need to make sure that you, in your SEO strategy, are building content around what those expectations are. So it's just different. Definitely isn't dead, but that's one of those things that is clickbait on all these different websites and all these different auto vendor communities, and it drives me nuts for sure.
Okay, so SEO definitely not dead, decidedly incredibly important, and don't believe the hype, right?
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
which leads me right into this next question that came in from Mark. Mark says, can you tell me how SEO is going to help improve my paid search performance? Okay, that's true. Paid search doesn't really have much to do with SEO, but does it?
So it's actually, they fit hand in hand so well because of all the information you can take from one and give to the other. The biggest one is to do SEO effectively, you need to be building content and specific to those pages that people are searching for. And then when you are, with your paid search strategy, building those pages for SEO, you can use them for SEM too. Which pages are converting the best on your website, drive traffic to those pages. And the way that that paid search works is that it's a bidding strategy. What is your quality score multiplied by how much you're willing to bid is what position you're in. And your quality score is going to go up based on how relevant the landing page experience is. Other things like how relevant is your ad to the search and what is your click-through rate on that ad or expected click-through rate. But 40% of what goes into quality score is the landing page. So when you're doing stuff for your SEO strategy that's creating content and pages that are specific to those searches, use those same pages that you're creating for your paid search strategy, because they're converting well, they work, that they're answering the questions, and it's going to decrease your overall spend because your quality score is going to go up. A lot of dealerships, if you aren't looking at quality score as a metric for your performance, most dealerships live in the 4 to 5 to 6 quality score range for most of their keywords or lower. So they're spending twice as much money as they need to spend if your quality scores are 9 or 10. So it's a big challenge there.
Yeah.
Literally, people can spend half as much money in our space with a better performing paid search campaign that's built around data and quality and driving people to the pages that matter.
All right. I like that answer. All right, Mark, great question. If you have a follow-up question, you only have a couple more minutes because we're down to the last couple questions, and then we're going to close out the show. All right. Next one comes in from John. Dave, are you ready for this? John says, how long does it take to properly set up Google Analytics, and how much does it cost?
I mean, there are a ton of resources out there to see how to do it, just doing a YouTube search or whatever. I know we have a blog about how to set that up in our blog. But it should take you, I mean, really somewhere between 30 minutes to an hour, hour and a half. There's a lot of dashboards that are worth creating, a lot of, custom reports that are worth creating that once you get in there and you start geeking out, then you're going to, spend a ton of time in there. But just the framework for setting up your filters and your goals and some of your event tracking, depending on your event tracking, that could take several hours if you want to get really nitty gritty there. And there's a ton of cool stuff there too, but basic goal setup, 30 to 60 minutes.
Not bad, not bad. And how much does it cost for Google Analytics?
Oh yeah, and it's totally free.
Free?
Yep, that's why dealers should all use it. Yep, doesn't cost any money and all the data.
We love free. I love free. Okay, last one comes in from Anne. Anne says, do I need Google Analytics if my provider has their own analytics installed? So I feel like this goes back to Tracy's question, which we all know how that turned out. So advice for Anne?
Yeah, well, so I would say that, I mean, there is a lot of really great vendor reporting, and I would still look at that vendor reporting, but for the level of objectivity and the level of detail that Google Analytics provides, there are so many ways to identify where the problem is using Google Analytics or where the pain point is or how to fix it that just doesn't exist anywhere else in our industry within any of the vendors, and that's because it's Google. They spent billions of dollars, or millions, I should probably say, creating this platform to be as robust as it is, and that level of objectivity is important.
Well, with that, David, I'm just going to leave you with this nice comment that Jeffrey wrote in my best Tony the Tiger voice, which does not exist, actually. He says, thank you for a great presentation. I'm not good at Tony the Tiger. Please don't make me do that again, Jeffrey. So much, David. That was spectacular. Excellent, excellent information that you dropped on all of us today. I can't thank you enough, and I hope it won't be long before you bring us some more exciting information in the world of SEM and analytics. We need it, we love it, and we certainly could use it. So thank you so much, David.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always fun to be on here, and always good to talk to you.
Thank you so much. Now, I want to remind everyone a link to download a copy of this webinar recording is going to be emailed you later. Share it with your friends and family and your colleagues. I don't know if your family wants to see it, but your friends and colleagues. And it's also going to be posted online within 24 hours at dealeron.com/webinar. From there, you can view our upcoming webinar schedule or access any of our past webinars too. And by the way, you want to see more of Dave Spannhake? I know I do. He's going to be presenting at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Orlando, April 10th to the 12th. So if you're going to be there, make sure you stop by. He's also going to have a booth there as well. Stop by, say hi, and check out his speaking session. Believe me, it is definitely going to be worth it. And if you want to know more information or to buy tickets, please visit digitaldealer.com. Hope to see you there. And please fill out the survey. We're going to be sending that survey out to you in just another couple minutes as soon as I close this webinar down. So it just has a few short questions. I believe there's 4 questions in there. We want to know what you thought of today's presentation. So please check out that survey and give us your thoughts. It would really mean a lot to us. And hey, are you losing valuable traffic because of a slow mobile site? Well, it's estimated that over half your website traffic is coming from mobile devices. Don't worry, Dealeron's here to help. We're going to give you a mobile site speed test for free. All you have to do, guess what? It's one of those questions in the survey. Say yes to the question and we'll get started right away. And it's a great way to see how your website stacks up to the competition. Dealeron's going to be exhibiting and presenting at the upcoming NADA convention in Vegas at the end of March. Are you going to be there? I'm going to be there. We have a full bar. We have live music, not live music, but we're going to have music. And we're going to be at booth 3493 Charlie. So if you're going to be there, please stop by. We'd love to see you. And we're not just bringing you the best digital marketing tools and some free booze to NADA. We're also bringing some serious knowledge. Our very own Greg Gifford is going to have 2 sessions on the Lego Masters Builder's Guide to Local SEO for car dealers. And this is a way for you to figure out what's holding your dealership back from showing up in Google searches in your area. We've also got Michael DeVito, our Chief Creative Officer. He's going to talk about selling more cars with your mobile website strategy and pave the path to purchase and how to turn website traffic into sales. We love that. Can't wait to see you there. Remember, it's booth 3493 Charlie, and you can also sign up for a demo at the Dealeron booth and score yourself a cool $100. Now, invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next Dealer On webinar. Turn data to dollars using data and AdWords to sell more cars. So if your dealership is investing in any kind of time and money in digital advertising in 2018, well, guess what? This is a webinar for you. Will Perry is going to show you how you can more than double the leads you generate from your digital advertising campaigns and truly dominate Google in your market. He's going to show you why most dealers are missing out on huge mobile advertising opportunities and how you can maximize your sales from mobile consumers. Additionally, he will use several real-world case studies to show how to leverage your actual DMS sales and service data to dominate your market, how to measure and optimize your keyword bidding strategies so you don't waste your ad budget, and how to properly implement advanced digital strategies like call-only conquest, zip depletion, and target outrank share. If you're spending any kind of money in digital advertising and you're ready to learn how to turn data to dollars using data and AdWords to sell cars, then this is a webinar you just can't afford to miss. So register now. And don't forget, Dealeron's weekly webinars are held Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding our webinars and our topics, well, hey, I'd love to hear from you. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I am all over the internet. I'm on every automotive social network. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, you name it. Or you know what? Hey, just email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. I'd love to hear from you. Now, before I let you go, I want to thank all of you for your time today. And of course, I hope to see you all on another webinar in Dealeron's continuing education series. Take care, everyone, and go Eagles. I think I'm just going to say it every week. I'm just going to keep on saying it.